Jules, this is going to sound a little bit strange, but there are times where I'll be sitting on my own and a word will pop into my head that I have literally used most of my adult life. And I'll just randomly say to myself, that's such a strange word. Where did that word come from? No reason, no rhyme. It just happens. Like the word, banter. What exactly? Who thought of and why? Banter. Did this happen to you?
Yes. I mean, I think what happens to me more often than that is I'll be typing and a word like I'm like, is that spelled right? Like, what is this word? But no, I know what you mean.
Okay. I don't know. Words to me, I sometimes I'm like, I just don't get them. They don't make sense. Who made this up? Or the words that are all like sounding the same. Like, why do we have to have a couple of different theirs when they all sound the same?
I probably shouldn't admit this, but lately I've been noticing in my own vocabulary, I want an expanded vocabulary because I tend to rely on the same words all the time, which is fine, but I want to expand my vernacular, if you will.
There you go.
But then I'll use a word and I'll kind of stop and I'll wonder, did I just use that correctly? Or am I sounding like an idiot right now? I don't know.
My husband.
Words have power, though. The words that we speak to others, the words, most importantly, that we speak to ourselves. We talk about that a lot on this podcast, the power of words and how we use them and when we use them, when we choose not to use them.
Mm-hmm. We all grew up with the line, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words can never hurt me. And I remember, you repeat it, you say it, and it's like, well, that makes sense, except for the fact that that's total BS. Because words can hurt. Words can leave an indelible mark. Oh, there we go. I just dropped a nice little word. Indelible. Words can leave an indelible mark on you. They have this ability to lead you in some way, space, or form, to feel some sort of way, to think some sort of way. So when you say words can never hurt you, that's a whole bunch of crock. There's another word. What's crock? As I look
also, by the way, I think that phrase was made up by a narcissist, right? Like someone who knew their words were damaging but didn't want to change the words they were using. But how often, Reish, do we do that to ourselves? Even the women we talk to on this podcast, that the words we're using about ourselves. With my own coach, at one point, she said to me, how would you rephrase that if you were talking to your son or to someone on your team? Because you're not very kind to yourself sometimes.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we say all of this because today's guest, she has a way with words and we absolutely love it. Let's get this going.
Think Tank of 3 starts now.
Welcome to the Think Tank of 3 podcast alongside my amazing, fabulous co-host, Julie Holton. I am Reischea Canidate Kapasouris. Our third amazing mind is someone who truly understands words, how to use them constructively, how to make them work positively, and quite frankly, how to make them fun.
She calls herself the natural dose of antidepressant, and you're going to find out why. Because she is an empowerment coach, a public speaker, a passion instigator, a plyovation creator. See, fun, amazing words. She will break down plyovation at its core, what it means. Join us in welcoming Regina Carey to the podcast. Hi, Regina.
Hey, hello, everybody. Great to see you today. Both of you just look so beautiful and bright.
And you with your big smiley face, as always. I love
the life-size emoji. A life-size emoji. That was awesome.
Circa 1972, maybe as old as my house that I'm living in right now. But yeah, this thing is the real deal. Plastic. But you know what? I found that simple thing, when the pandemic hit, having that on camera changed the energy of an entire space of people, whether it was 8 or whether it was 68. I mean, amazing. And so I started to use it all the time in my, it takes up a lot of real estate in the square, in the Zoom square. It can.
Right.
Yeah, but why not? We need to have the energy of positivity and joy because, we need it.
Well, that's the thing, like, even with words, body language, how many times you come into a room, you might not feel so great, but someone,
Yes.
like Julie walks into the room with a smile on your face and you're automatically like, oh, the room feels lighter. My mind feels brighter just because someone walked in
Yeah.
with a smile on their face versus someone walks in looking sad. You can tell something's going on. And if you're an empathetic individual, you feel that and you probably take a little bit of that on yourself. So it's
Yes.
it's not surprising at all that a gigantic happy face just automatically brings a smile to your face and makes you feel joy. Kind of like
Yes.
saying the word plyovation. I love it. I love the word. It is fun to say. It pulls me in. I have no
Thank you.
idea what it means, and I want to know what it means. What is flyovation?
Okay, so it is a fun, and in fact, the backstory is too long to tell you about, but I knew that when I talked about my work, every time I was speaking about the way I interact with people and the outcomes for my clients, I kept doing this sign, this leaping sign. Like, what is that? Why is my body doing that every time I talk? But it reminded me of plyometrics. That's going from stagnant to movement. So inertia to explosion. You've seen people do this box jumping or, even cheerleaders do this all the time. I don't know how they do it, going from standing to one of those herkies or whatever they're called. Could never do that. Wasn't a cheerleader. But I love the idea of plyometrics because it's a great way to get the energy moving. And so I thought, how could I use this when it comes to doing something, taking action, a step forward in your life? And so plyovation marries the idea of plyometrics, jump training, and activation. We are activating something inside. Whether you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, or all of a sudden you have a goal and you have decided, like Lisa Nichols says, I know, like I know, like I know. There's no doubt about it. You're going to do the thing. And so this is a great time to get involved in something like plyovation because it goes through, I take women through sort of a circuit training where we condition and then we strengthen and then we perform and then we have rest and relaxation. So it's quite a journey.
Okay, Regina, I want to come back to these 4 steps of plyovation in just a moment because I like Reish, I'm fascinated. I want to know more, especially because you focus on women, which is the core of our audience. But before we dive into that, I want to say too, I've known you for a short time, more from afar. More recently, I've had the opportunity to get to know you up close and personal, and I just absolutely adore you and love you. And I have to say, for all of our listeners who don't know you, this passion we're talking about, this joy when you walk into a room, we're not talking about fake positivity. You are not walking into a room and acting like life is wonderful and cheerful and rosy all the time. It is a very real positivity with you. And you're also a very real person who continues to navigate the journey of life that is full of ups and downs, and sometimes more downs than ups in the moment. And so I want to go back for a moment and ask kind of the personal story of how did you get into coaching and how do you keep kind of moving forward with this positive momentum when life is throwing you all the curves that life throws?
Yes, I have been doing this work from the time I was very small. In fact, in Catholic school, I was probably in the 3rd grade. And a nun came and got me. Maybe I was a little older, maybe fifth grade. The nun came down and said, could I have Gina please join me because I need her to watch the second grade class. So I walked down the hall. I said, all I had to do was sit at the desk because the teacher was taking a phone call. Well, all the kids were so well behaved. And I had one student come up with their book and they said, I don't understand this math problem. Well, that's all I needed. I got out the chalk. I got out the overhead. Before I knew it, I was teaching and bringing all these kids along with teaching them this math problem. So I have always been ready to stand up, to help, to support, to move people forward, to get them to do something maybe they've been too afraid to do. And really, a lot of this has come from people saying, hey, you can't do that. You really ought to have a plan B. Tell me not to do something, please. Because one person did that one time in my life, and it only took one time for somebody to say that to me. And it changed the course of my life. I had a guidance counselor tell me I wasn't smart enough to be a physical therapist. And I was 12. I was 12. So he wrote up my high school curriculum.
Shame on him.
And that was the stamp. I had a stamp for 4 years of high school. Nobody said boo. Nobody questioned it. Nobody stood up for me. And that was the last time anybody was going to direct my life. So I know that we all have choices. And a lot of times as adults, we still play those stories from when we were growing up. This is, no, you really, no.
If I had an Emmy for every time someone told me not to be a journalist and, oh, wait, I do. but really though, Regina, I think like you're touching on, I think it's safe to say all three women right here on this podcast are the kind of women who were told no. And we're like, all right, watch me. Like, because now I'm not only going to do it, I'm going to be the best effing person you ever saw do whatever you said I shouldn't do. But there are very amazing women who don't necessarily take that path, who say, okay, well, maybe that's not for me, or maybe I am needed somewhere else. And so now later in life, they get to meet people like you to bring them out of their shell. So, okay, back to Plyovation. Tell us about Plyovation and how this fits in with helping people take action.
Right. This is a scary yes. It is a very scary yes. But you know what? I believe in this so much that I got my registered trademark on it. It now has an R at the end. And I'm proud of that because I've seen the transformation that can happen. And you know what? It doesn't happen overnight. And I think so much so in the last 3.5 years, we have been tricked into believing that there's the thing. It's that one thing, that the answer to our problems, the pill that's going to make us all thin, the machine that's going to solve all our aches and pains. No, it's been a lifetime that we've built up these stories, these behaviors, this language, and it takes time to change it. And so initially, my program was 9 months, because 9 months to create a new human, correct? So we get in and we really start to look at conditioning our minds, our bodies, and our spirits, because this is an adventure. And so I help people shift what they say about their lives, what they believe is possible. I've had women go from not even, saying that they were artistic, to owning an art gallery, to having a piece of artwork on a billboard on the side of a highway because they've got chosen out of all the other artists in the mid-Michigan area. Women have sold their homes. They've dropped relationships, started a new life. Because when you focus on what you want, which is really what this is all about, bringing it back to the woman who wants the thing, everything changes. It's magical. And women forget how powerful we are. So once we condition, then we strengthen and we start to be that person in the world and practice the posture, practice this, the facial expressions, the smiles, practice our imagination. We forget how to dream. And we've had so many people who've snuffed out that fire, which is why I say I am a passion instigator. I stoke those flames that are still in there. And we begin to believe that this is possible. And then there's a performance component. Okay, you got it. You practiced it. Now get out and do it. Become it. Be the person you want to see in the world. And that takes a lot of energy. And we have to learn how to say no to the things that used to be our yeses. And we have to get rid of FOMO. I say we replace it with JOMO. We have to enjoy, we have to have a joy of missing out, not a fear, but a joy, because we know what we value, we know what's important, we know how to say yes. Because if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. No bones about it.
Man.
So then after we have to do some rest and relaxation.
Reisha's in church right now. I can feel.
I was about to say, and
I'm right there with you.
And they all said, like, amen.
I already lost a contact, like, but didn't want to interrupt. So,
hey, no, it is about, and it's about having somebody believe in you. I believe it. The minute I see you, I already know. I know before you know how good it's going to be. But we also have to learn how to rest and relax. We got to know what motivates us, what fills us up. And we have to know what takes our energy away. And so that rest and relaxation component is really about energy management, learning where to put it, how to store it, how to rejuvenate it. And then we start it all over again. You see, because it never ends. Women are always in transition. We're always going through those grief cycles. We're always starting again, but we've got more. Our shoulders are broader. Our spirits are fuller. We can start another adventure, stronger, smarter, wiser, and ready to bring another woman with us. That's the power of this. We can bring another woman right along with us because we know the power of saying yes to ourselves. That's what privation is.
I need an organ in the background because it was like every moment I could hear, yes, yes, speak.
I need a button. I need something to.
Right, I get to hear it like, do you hear her? Do you hear her?
I love it. Somewhere around here, I've got a tambourine. I'm gonna start.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is why you're queen of action, because even your words get a person wanting to get out of their seat. I mean, not to, totally, well, we've already brought the church all the way into it, but one of the things I always laughed about when I would go to church, and I haven't done it as much as I should lately, whatever, but I told my husband, I was like,
oh wait, hold on, pause, Reish, because she's gonna get rid. Pause your story. You're shooting all over yourself. Those are like my favorite things that Regina says. Stop shitting all over yourself.
Okay. Thank you for the correction.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Regina, you taught me well.
Good. See? Bring
Right.
another woman along.
Yes.
All right, unpause. Tell your story now.
Unpause. I always would laugh about the differences. I, go to different, go to a French church over here. My husband is Greek Orthodox. So, after proving to them, yes, I was baptized Christian, I don't need to go through that all over again. Our children were both baptized Orthodox, but going to church, I would be sitting there and I'm like, I leave here and not for nothing. I mean, I realize they're sharing a good message. I said, but I'm just not motivated. Whereas how I grew up and the the Southern Baptist churches that I grew up, I mean, we'd be walking out like, let's go. We can go change the world. But, you know, and,
Right.
and Alex was even saying, he's like, it's like a party up in there. I'm like, right? That's what I'm talking about. It's a party up in there. It's a party
Yes.
up in here. You walk out of here feeling like I am just a sinner. And
Right.
I should just like go find a corner and stay there. I said, you don't want to feel that way. You want to feel like, let's go do something. And she just sat here speaking on the energy and the going out and the doing and don't shooting on yourself. And I want to like, I've got a tear flowing from one side of joy. I've got contact lenses popping out of Julie's face. And I'm just like,
That's what we're talking about. We got to get that movement. And that's the thing. When you know that you're ready to do it, you feel that vibration. We shove that down. We might get that naturally because of our intuitiveness. We get that intuitive hit and we're like, I'm going to push that right down. And I can't do that now. I have to wait until this, wait until that happens, wait until financially I'm all set, wait until the kids graduate. You know what? I help women with their weight problem. I'm so tired of women waiting. Let's get rid of the weight problem. This is the real problem. It's not the LBs. It's the WAIT. Stop
Regina,
waiting.
what is it, do you think, that, especially for women who, we have a lot of incredible women on this podcast. And I talked about this in our season opener, a lot of incredible women who, to anyone from the outside, they've already made it. They are doing big things. They're incredible. But even to themselves, when we get them on this podcast and they start to open up about their fears and their insecurities, every single person we talk to, especially women, tend to, hold themselves back in some area of their lives. What is it about women where, like you said, they're waiting or they're shooting on themselves? What is it that you see with the women you work with? What's holding us back?
Well, I think fear is the thread that goes through all of it, whether it's a fear of what other people are going to think, a fear of judgment, a fear of failing. We have to do it. We have to do it afraid. Do it scared. That was the title of my last podcast. Do it scared. Because what you realize and what I witness again and again is that you get on the other side of it. You're like, oh, I did it. I did that. Why did I wait so long? And then we waste time beating ourselves up about, we should on ourselves. I should have done this 5 years ago. Well, I'll be the first one to say, no, that is untrue. Because we are so smart and we make so many decisions every day. And when we make a decision, what we have to go on is what we know right in that moment. That's the whole hindsight's 2020. I never understood what that meant. I really did, years and years and years it took. But the point is, once you do the thing, you're like, oh yeah, I am capable. I'm intelligent. I can do this. And when we hold back, we really have to look at what is it? Is it our stories? Is it the people around us? Because you see, we don't want to let go either. Because saying yes to something means letting go of a part of ourselves. We know this. We have to shed something in order to go forward. And that means relationships. That means stories we tell ourselves. It might mean letting go of finances and the grip that maybe your partner or your parents taught you to have on your money. Oh, it's the letting go. And I'm telling you, we got to get to a point in our lives where we're ready to start releasing all of the things because it's weighing us down. We have to let go and be okay with it. Mm-hmm. That's big.
I don't know if you've just hit me at the right time or if I'm PMSing. I'm feeling everything that you're saying, and I'm very emotional for some reason. So,
well, I love it, and it is very common. It's very common that women have this emotion surface when we begin to talk about their lives. It's right there. I can always see it right behind their eyes. We all need a good cry, for one, because women who are strong and women who are high achievers, we hold in that emotion because we got to be tough. Yes, we do. And we also have to feel the feels, because if we don't and we press that energy down, it shows up as disease. It shows up as cancer. It shows up as migraines. It shows up as irritable bowel syndrome. It shows up as fibromyalgia. It shows up, and it's never as pretty as just getting the tears out. It is ugly. So let's all have an ugly cry and get through it, because it's good for us to do that and feel that emotion. And even what you did there when you said, maybe I'm PMSing, you see, women, we do this all the time too. Think about from the time we started having our periods, it was either, oh, she's emotional because she's hormonal. Oh, she's having her period. Oh, she's going, she's starting to develop. So she's getting, and then what is it? What? She's trying to get pregnant. Oh, she's pregnant. Oh, she's in her third trimester. Oh, she's right. Perimenopausal. Oh, she's menopausal. Oh, she's just having a hard time accepting aging and all that. Are you kidding? Like, let's stop trying to find reasons why women have emotions and just let us have the emotion. I could get on. My soapbox is growing as I speak. I apologize. But the truth is,
don't ever apologize. That's our rule.
We got to knock these things out. You see, we got to knock these things out because we do it like we breathe.
You know what? I also feel like, though, in doing that, in continually trying to find a reason why I've got waterworks going, on the flip side of that, we're also telling men, so there's no space for you to be emotional because you're not going to be PMSing. You don't get to carry the child. You don't get to have a hormonal whatever, even though, newsflash, every guy goes through hormone changes. It's called puberty. They all do it too. Or growing in general as life goes on.
So, or just having feelings.
And so when we try to find a reason behind it, as opposed to saying, I'm having feelings, period, not that period, just in the sentence.
Right.
I'm feeling some kind of way.
Yes. I
was into my 30s, now into my 40s, but it took me all the way into my 30s to realize that my emotions, I'm a very empathetic person. And it took me until I was in my 30s to realize that that's my superpower. Like, I truly believe that caring for others and carrying their feelings with me is a superpower. I don't always like it. I don't always want to feel all the feelings, but that's because I like my parents were raised, and their parents raised to think that you hold everything in, and that's strength. When in fact, the strength is being true to our emotions and being able to show them. And I'm with you, Regina. I will shout from the soapbox that feelings are actually a good thing. They tell us something about how we're reacting or how something's impacting us. And so I'm with you. I think feelings it's a topic for a whole nother podcast about how our society treats feelings as a negative thing, when it's actually just part of science.
Part of being. It's just part of being. Hey, I'm wondering, in looking at some of the faces that have been a part of the seminars you've done in the past, I didn't notice a lot of, say, 20-somethings, not to say that they weren't there, and 30-somethings, but I did notice that a lot of the faces seem to be the more mature, having lived a little bit of life individuals, which I absolutely loved. Was that, is that purposeful? Is that just a side effect? Do you tend to find that it's those who have lived a little bit of life who maybe it is the maturity of the mind and understanding. Now you can understand what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yes, you're right about all of it. One question that I think is absolutely ridiculous. What would you tell your 20-year-old self? Oh my God, my 20-year-old self would have given you the hand. Like, are you kidding me? We're not ready. when we're in our 20s, we're invincible. We believe that we're going to live forever and we can just be reckless. And look at how we ate. Look at what we drank. Look at some of the things we did before phones. Oh my gosh. I mean, thank you, God. But here's the thing. This is, I don't even like the phrase midlife. This is next phase living. We are always in this next phase of life. And, you know, if you're not, chances are you're not watching this for one thing. I think next phasers are the people that are learning. We're taking in all the information. We're starting to take action, even if it's a little bit, on moving forward, because we all got to experience what being stuck felt like and being with ourselves. And some of us didn't like ourselves. And then other people found themselves and went, wow, I feel things and I want to do things. And people are important to me. And so I'm going to quit my job, or I'm going to always work from home, or next phase living. And I think it does take a woman who has been through a thing or two. I have been through, you name it, the births, the deaths, the cancers, the addiction, the empty nest, the loaded house, the caretaking, the sudden death of a parent. I mean, you want to talk about something? We could talk all day. But what we have to remember is we're still here, and we have a lot of living to do. We have a lot of sharing of our journey with other women. It's okay to not look perfect. And we got to stop getting on social media when we're feeling like crap, because it's all an illusion. So instead of giving your energy to other people when you're feeling something, turn it on you. Do something for yourself. Turn your phone off and go on a walk. You need to get out and reconnect with who you are and what you want right now, and get off your phones and paying attention to everybody else's life. That is what trips us up, and it makes us feel very lonely. And I'm saying you're not alone. There are a lot of us out here ready to help you, to link arms with you, and to bring you on that journey, because we believe in your power.
Regina, what makes you so passionate about women in particular, especially building community with women?
Because I've had it and I've not had it, and I've had it again and then I lost it again. A lot of this came from, for a long time watching my mother not acknowledge all the things happening in her life. And she didn't go back to school until all the kids were born. So until we were all there, then she went back and got her degree. And then she went through cancer, and then she lost my father. And then, she started writing a book, and it took her 23 years to write the book. And it's like, I've watched the women I love the most not live and do everything they could to be what society wanted them to be. So they were always trying to lose weight, always trying to lose weight. At one point, I woke up and I said, my God, I've been trying to lose weight for 45 years. Are you kidding me? My mother had me in Weight Watchers at 9. My point is, women in community can be catty and mean and nasty to one another, or they can be loving and encouraging and supportive of the dreams that they have. And I want to be a part of that. I want to build that, because I'm no longer looking left and right in my life. I don't look at what's happening over here, because it takes away from the power of what's right in front of you. And when I look at your beautiful faces, you have dreams and things you want to do and people you want to be in this world. Do it. Do something, anything. Because and I'm telling you, not every woman is going to say, oh, I think you're wonderful, let's do this thing. But the women who believe that, those are my people. That's my tribe. That's what I'm building with this. I really am building a movement to create this web of feminine power that is real and honest and supportive.
It speaks to the heart of this podcast and why we created it. Regina, we will link all the links to all the things so people can connect with you to be a part of your community, to be a part of your tribe. I'm so grateful for you and to have you in my life. And I can't wait to share you with our listeners.
Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. I just, so much happening, so many words going through my mind and so many feelings. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. You know, though, we still do have our rapid fire questions. We might delete one though, Julie.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's outdated at this point.
A little bit outdated. But very quickly, we definitely have two that we'll ask that we feel good about, that we feel good about. The first is, what is one piece of advice you would give to any future leader who's looking to do something?
When you are inspired, take action. One step, one email, one phone call, one connection, one Facebook Live. Do something, one thing. But don't sit on that idea because somebody else is going to grab it and run with it.
Regina, can you share a book, a quote, maybe a resource that has had a significant impact on your journey?
You know, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer is powerful because it almost was a predictor of the pandemic. He asked the question, who are you? And I say this to women all the time. If you woke up and no house, no kids, no family, it was you. You woke up and you're in the middle of nowhere. Who are you? I think it's a powerful question because at any point, in a blink, our lives can shift. And we could be that person who lands somewhere in a foreign place where all you have is you. Figure out who you are.
I do want to ask our last question, Reish. I do want, because I think that it shows what as individuals we've learned throughout our journey. So Regina, if you could go back in time and maybe tell that younger self, that 12-year-old who is standing at the front of the classroom with the chalkboard, one piece of advice, what would you tell little Gina?
Question everything.
12-year-old Gina would listen to that. 20-year-old Gina may not, but 12-year-old Gina would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Regina, I can't even, I want the word, I want a specific word. It has been exhilarating. It has been profound. That's where it is. It has been profound sitting here and listening to you and learning from you. It has been absolutely amazing. Thank you. For being on the
Thank you
with us.
Thank you, Reish. Now you're going to make me cry. Oh, ladies.
I hate to end it, but that is all for this fantastic episode of Think Tank of Three. But before you step away, please remember to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. And I guarantee you, especially this particular episode, you will come back to over and over and over and over again. Oh, and yes, make it a strong day.
Regina, we love you. Can't wait to have you back.
Thank you so much. Carry on.